Hi, um, this is another video, probably the last video. Um, we're moving in on Thursday, which is tomorrow. The carpets were fitted on Monday, and the decorating was completed last week sometime. And there's only a little bit of work for the plumber to finish up with the bathroom. But mostly it's all entirely done. Like, we're ready to move in. So I thought I'd record one last video to show the final look of the what the property looks like now. You can see this carpet here is like a silvery colour. It's actually called Roman silver. A really deep, thick carpet that we've got in the master bedroom and the lounge downstairs. Um, and the walls are like an off-whitish sort of grey silvery colour. They're nice. Curtains are being fitted throughout upstairs. We're working on the curtains downstairs, but they're going to be completed this week as well. There's not much left to do really. Next year there'll be a bit of work to do putting fascias and soffits in because they need renewing. Have somebody look at the roof and drainage a little bit. But other than that, apart from building a patio to go outside the front of the door, patio doors, the job will be done really. Right, so I'll just show some photos. That's another angle. You can see these radiators here are all new as well. We had new radiators fitted throughout. Just different angles. We actually had to take the door off there because the carpet's so deep that we had to adjust the bottom of the door, cut some of the bottom of the door off to fit it in. So we're working on that. That's the door there. You've seen the light fittings before. This is the landing. All the storage tank for the hot water is in this cupboard here. And it's quite a complicated setup. There's like expansion vessels and stuff like that. It uses all the space. It's very different to what was in there before. A much better setup entirely. But we're actually using the old boiler that the previous owner put in, which is a Worcester boiler. Still using that because it's only a couple of years old, but all the storage tank and everything else has been replaced, and obviously a new bathroom's gone in. All this paintwork has been eggshelled and the walls have been painted. You might remember me mentioning that the walls, all the walls in the hallway, stairs and landing were re-skimmed by a plasterer. They were done, but the other walls were just, like in the bedrooms and everywhere else in the house, were just lined and painted by a decorator. The decorator said that it's a damn sight cheaper to or a little bit cheaper to line and paint your walls than it is to skim and paint, which I think I'd have to agree with. I've tried to work it out just based off prices and general ideas, but I think it would be cheaper. Definitely saved us a lot of time because if you assume that each room in the house, and there's probably 5 or 6, living room, extension, kitchen, that's 3, hallway, stairs and landing 4, and then 3 bedrooms and a bathroom. So like 6 or 7 rooms, each of which takes 2 or 3 days to skim. You're talking about, the decorator only did 18 days at the property, lining and painting and eggshelling and everything. So obviously to get the refurb done in 3 months we got the keys on the 2nd of September, and the carpets were fitted on the 28th of November. It's now done. The 1st of December is tomorrow, so the entire project done inside 3 months. And we wouldn't have been able to do that had we re-skimmed all the walls and then painted them, because there just wasn't enough time. So not only is it cheaper to strip back the wallpaper and then reline and repaint them, but it's also a lot quicker to a lot shorter time frame involved in lining and painting over skimming and painting with the plasterer. So yeah, these curtains are new. In fact, we're having to put all new curtains in the property because the ones that were in there previously weren't very nice. I know Kay's mum mentioned that, and also so much dust was created in the refurb as we were taking stuff out, and joiners were cutting wood and shaping everything. Um, the I mean, you could wash them and put them back up, but they weren't very good anyway. So what we bought are a lot better. Um, this that's another angle of the guest room. Um, like I say, new radiators. Uh, I think it's looking very finished now at this stage. I'm very happy with it. That's some sockets just to show the detail on the sockets. Around there, it's lined and painted, and it also shows the detail on the way the skirting board meets the wall, the lined wall, and the carpet, and it does look very finished. Let me just. That's a light switch, because obviously the light switches, the wires had to be ripped out, and they laid some new wires in and roughed in some plaster, and then just to give that look without having to reskim it. What I was going to say about basically this carpet here is slightly different to the one in the bedroom. You'll notice this carpet. I'll just go back a few. In the bedroom, you've got the Roman silver, but this bedroom here, which is effectively the guest bedroom, has a different type of carpet. And basically, we've got the Roman silver, which was the expensive $22.99 a square meter, I think it was, for the lounge and the master bedroom. And then we've got a less expensive one that was, I think, $10.99 a square meter for the stairs, landing, guest bedroom, and the box. So yeah, different carpet there. Going back, this is the box room here. It's a lot smaller. It's got the same curtains as the guest bedroom. New radiators throughout, obviously. Nice light fitting. Sockets, lights, everything done. New doors. We kept the original frames. The frames for the doors are still the same. They've just been eggshelled. I think it's called eggshell, and the painter did that. The decorator painted them. That's another one of the bathroom. This hasn't quite been finished yet. We have to put a cabinet on the wall, a glass shelf, and a towel rail. And it needs to be sealed with silicone. But apart from that, it's pretty much done. Obviously, we're moving in tomorrow. I don't know if we'll be able to shower up there yet and use the bathroom yet. Might have to return back to Kay's parents' house to shower or whatever until the bathroom's definitely done. But the plumber knows we're ready to get going, and he's on the job. He's already sealed the after these photos were taken, he's run silicone along the corners of uh, the corner edges at the top of the walls there yesterday evening. That's more of the stairs. Didn't do anything with the banister, but apparently it's just got to be cleaned and covered in a mahogany oil. Will be good enough to treat the banister for getting that looking good. Obviously, a new laminate's gone in. This length of carpet here is just for the removal men, so that they don't damage the laminate too much with the boots or whatever. Because we've got all our stuff in a safe storage facility in Burnley, and that's costing us quite a bit of money to keep that there every month. So we're taking all that out on Thursday, and so that we no longer have that as a bill, and just moving everything in now, because all the flooring's in. I'd say literally every internal surface is new pretty much, because it's new doors as well. Not new windows though, that's true. More of the stairs. New light fittings throughout, obviously. Kitchen, which you've seen before, nothing's different there really, other than it's now being painted. You can see up here at the side of the cupboards and near the window. That's like a duck eggish, like off blue, sort of a bluish colour, like that. It's painted. This space here now has the fridge freezer in there. We've got to reverse the handedness on the door and change it over. Swap the sides that the door pivots from, and adjust the legs because it's rocking at the moment. But the fridge is actually in position now, and it fits fine. Double fridge freezer, double height, fits in that space just perfectly. So anyone thinking about a semi, you could do the same. Well, it's probably been done many times before, but like I say, the way they were built back in the day, you would have to cut out and move the electric meter and the consumer unit, and we've put it in the cupboard under the steps. You could definitely do that if you had to. Because, like I say, these buildings are 50. This one's 50 years old. Actually, I was looking at the documentation for the original deeds that were written up, and it was originally a farm called Cowgill Farm, and it was sold to a property developer in 1966, and then inside a year, 62 dwelling houses were built on the land, one of which is 15 Stoney Bank, this property here, and yeah, sold to the previous owner. Well, it was sold to a guy called Thomas Layfield, and his wife was called Margaret Layfield, and her children or grandchildren, Beverly and Claire, are an attorney for her estate, and she was the previous owner, and she'd been there ever since it was built 50 years ago. Next year, in 2017, it'll be 50 years to the year since she bought the property before it was sold to us. So there's only ever been one owner in there, and they're taking pretty good care of it. It's in a good condition. It's nice. No walls have been knocked out. No serious work's been done. An extension was added, but they haven't. It looks pretty safe. There was ideas about. Let's just get this photo. This window here, the bay window in the living room, because it's timber framed, especially upstairs where the bedroom is, there is a chance, having talked to my friend Luke, who is a structural engineer, and the surveyor who looked at the property from Peter Cox, who did the what's it called, the damp proof course in the extension, because the plaster was damp. He did that, but he looked at the bay window and he said, yeah, it's a timber frame. With properties of this design, there is a chance that the timber frame can pull away from the front of the house. And he said just keep an eye on it, and that's what my friend Luke said to do. So at the moment, we're not having to renew that. There is a possibility that at some point in the future it would have to be done. But for now, it's okay. So anyway, that's the living room. Like I say, it's got the Roman silver carpet in there. And let's see if I can get some better photos. This wall here, Kay called it a feature wall. It's the only feature wall in the house, and it's got a wallpaper with a very nice print of some hummingbirds. The intensity of the colours on the hummingbirds is very high. If you visit, you'll notice that the colours there really pop. There's some very rich inks in there, and it was an expensive print. And I can see why, because obviously inks like that are very expensive. You can see these sockets here. One's for the TV, and then 4 sockets for the TV area, because obviously I'll have the Xbox One, the TV, and the Bang & Olufsen rig, like a stereo sound plugged in there, sound system, and the sofa will be exactly opposite, on the opposite wall, kind of orthogonal to the display. So you're like looking directly forward, like a cinema, where you face the TV rather than being off at an angle. So you'll be facing the display directly. And that's just a close-up, just to show the level of detail. What a decorator does, which many of you would have already seen before, is unscrew the sockets from the wall, pull them out a little bit, and then fit the wallpaper in and around the sockets to make it look like a really good quality render. Like as an image it looks good, in 3D that would look good. But that's actually in a house, it's real, it's physical geometry, like real molecules, bricks and mortar. 15 Stoney Bank. Sorry, I'm just rambling on, but that shows more detail of the print, the hummingbirds. I think it's a little bit blurred, that image, but you can possibly see some of the richness in some of the inks in the hummingbirds there. We chose the duck egg blue background to go with the kitchen. The kitchen has a duck egg coloured splashback, and a lot of the colours there are very similar. And I think the paint that we use for most of the properties, like a silvery grey or off-white sort of silver grey. I can't remember the name of the colour, but it's very similar to the leaves in these flowers. I think that was the idea behind the thinking there. I'm very impressed with it. It's like we went into this store. Apparently, the wallpaper was supposed to be a lot cheaper, but I think we went to the wrong store by accident because everything in there seemed to be really high end, and it was like the woman who ran the store. You could tell she was a well-to-do lady, Um, and I just thought, yeah, this stuff's going to be expensive. But when we saw this paper, I didn't think too much about price. I just thought, yeah, it'll be really nice. It's the only feature wall going into the property. It's going to be expensive, but we'll just put some money down on it. And I think Kay's really happy with it. She's glad that I didn't argue too much over the price, and I know she loves it. So you can see this. This is looking at the dining room end. It's all one. It's like a lounge diner in one big long room. It's about 14 foot wide by 30 foot long or something like that. Split into two sections, half and half. One's the lounge and one's the diner. That's all through. Obviously, it's a semi, so it's a bit different. You can't really do this in a terraced house. Well, not without knocking down walls. That's the patio doors at the end. They're new as well, and new radiators. That's another view. So we're going to have a 6-seater table in there, in that dining room. Laminate floor for the dining room. The same laminate floor that's in. It's laminate from the dining room into the kitchen and into the hallway, and then down into the extension as well. Got laminate in there too. Uh, um, the reason I took a photo of this is we actually had some roses put in that Andrew installed for the living room lights, just to improve the appearance of because we think that roses in living rooms look good, so we put some in, and they're pretty nice. That's another view. That's the other one. Those are on a dimmer switch. One of the bulbs has gone out, but you can just replace those. That's a view of the patio windows. Curtains will be installed throughout, coming up soon. Anita's going up this afternoon to fit the curtains downstairs. That's that done. A close-up of the patio doors. We got a really good price on the patio doors because a guy that lives in the village who knows Kay and the family did a really good price for the doors throughout, fitting and everything. This is what I'm calling the utility. It's actually in the extension, and we're having a dryer on the left hand side and a washing machine on the right, and then a door in the middle just for washing powder and other stuff, like Lenore or whatever, fabric softener. But hopefully that won't create too much noise when I'm sat at my computer. That's a view of the new back door on the property, out to the garden. Light switch, sockets, everything new. Laminate. That was just showing the detail of the skirting board because it had new skirting boards done throughout as well. So view the window, obviously. If I can show it, no, I can't quite show it. I wonder if there's a better photo to show where I'm having my desk. No, I don't think there is, but in front of this window is where I'm having my computer desk with my dual monitor setup. That's why sometimes I call it my command center, just as a bit of a joke after a Diad 4.0. That's a view of the utility from where the desk area will be. There's actually a door. The kitchen's through that door there, and Kay wanted a door putting on just so that she can lock me away in my little computer room while I sort of type codes in C++. More detail on the way the carpet meets the skating board, which meets the feature wall. I'm very pleased with the outcome there. That's just a painted wall meeting the skating board, meeting the carpet. These sockets are the ones by the computer desk in the extension. Be plugging my computer into those. Oh, that's just lunch that I had one day. So I think that's about it. I'll just cycle through them to show. Nice range of photos. Right. So I'll cycle through them once more, and soon all our stuff will be in, and I might do one more video once it's all ready, because we're getting a new sofa today, and the new bed's coming from Benson's for Bed. We've got a DFS sofa coming today, and a Benson's for Bed's bed. It's a pocket sprung with an iGel mattress type thing, and it's a divan with a headboard. Really nice bed. It's actually a Super King, and it just fits in between those sockets that you can see there. Expensive bed, but really nice. Should be good sleeping on that. And then we're moving all our stuff in, so the next set of photos will have a lot of furniture in there. But I'll just cycle through them showing some of this. It's a really nice finish. Like, let's say if you were to do it in 3D, I don't think you could really get things looking any better. There is a slight... The problem with having your walls lined and painted is sometimes you'll spot seams where the paper joins up. So that's obviously not as good as having a skimmed wall that's been painted, definitely. But even skimmed walls that are painted are usually eventually papered over anyway, so don't really matter. It's, yeah, just about 3D. I don't think you could get it looking any better in 3D, and this is actually real, so it's a nice finish. Oh, lunch. Just back through them again. Obviously, these are mainly for our memories, so we can look back in years' time. This content will always be stored on Facebook, so we can, even if we don't want to listen to the voice, just look at the pictures scrolling through on the display. Definitely really good. It's like a slideshow. And then obviously memories about how we did it. There we go. Back to the master bedroom. I think I'll call it a day there. Bye.